Welcome back, Benchwarmers. It's that time of year when Lord Stanley's Cup returns to see who'll be partying with it this summer.
We have a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup Final, the defending champion Florida Panthers against the Edmonton Oilers.
This year, we switch home ice advantage, but otherwise we're looking forward to a great matchup.
I think I know who you're rooting for, but let's get into it and see if I'm right. I'm Corey, ride the wave.
I'm Brendan, Rain Red.
I'm Aaron, pulling for Corey Perry, and this is our view from the bench.
Before we get started, if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss any one of the new episodes.
Also, if you could please do us the favor, if you like what you see here, please don't forget to smash that like button.
Smash it for us. Come on, it's free. It's free for you. It's free for us. Helps out the channel a lot more than you probably think.
Hell yeah.
All right, Aaron, welcome back, man. Our hockey expert. I try to keep up. Corey works there, but you bring it all together. You know what I mean? So appreciate you again for stopping in. Eventually, when the paychecks start rolling in, you'll get one too.
Let's go.
Hell yeah. Hey, you're not our hockey analyst for no reason. We bring you in here for a reason.
For it. I'm ready.
Yeah, first employee.
Hey, no key, so are we.
Unofficial. Yeah, exactly. True that. Well, we're here today to obviously talk about, he knows more than hockey, just so all the, everyone out there is aware, but, he lives and breathes it as his favorite sport. So we're obviously here with Aaron to talk about some Stanley Cup Finals. We are about, 8 minutes out of finishing game one. What a excellent game that one was. Immediately, the series is going to overtime, so that was pretty cool. I saw initially that I saw that Edmonton scored pretty quickly, but when I finally went to go check the score, they were down already. So how much of the game have you guys watched? Aaron, was it a great first game?
It was a very great first game, and you're right. I think I remember looking at that early start for the Oilers thinking, okay, they clearly have a mission here coming out to play, but it was very short-lived, and they kind of fell into some bad play. They got behind a little bit, but in the end, it doesn't matter. They come out with an overtime win, and overall, just a very evenly paced first game here between the two teams who know each other very well.
Yeah, obviously, just as easy as last year. This is, hopefully McDavid. I know, Corey, that's who you're kind of rooting for a little bit, to his chance to get back, since Panthers have been here now. This is their third straight appearance. They've only won last year, so they're going for the back-to-back here. But I think you're kind of pulling for the Western Conference. What did you see from the first game, and how's McDavid looking?
Yeah, well, Aaron's right. I got in my car to leave work, and before I could even turn my car and get on the freeway, they'd already scored on 1-0. So I was like, okay, we're off to a good start. But like you, Brendan, once I got home and I turned it on, it was like, what the hell happened? It's 2-1. But I was watching the replay. The first goal, there was some maybe goaltender interference possibly, and then Edmonton challenged, and they lost the challenge, which in the NHL, if you challenge and lose, you automatically go on the PK. So then Florida had a penalty.
I like that rule.
Yeah, so then Florida had the penalty or the power play, and they scored during that power play. It made it 2-1. So they scored two within a 2-minute mark, but that's because they lost the challenge on the other side and then created a second penalty. So I mean, I could see it being called goalie interference, but either way, I think it's good to set the tone early that unless it's obvious or something dramatic that changes anything, they're going to go with it. But otherwise, like Aaron said, great game, came down to the wire. You mentioned overtime, which overtime hockey is always the best thing anyway. So I mean,
yeah, honestly, hockey in general is super fun, especially in person. But playoff hockey, even not in person, is just intense. It's just an extra level. So let's kind of break down. I know we obviously saw game one. It's 1-0 Edmonton, so they've got the edge there. They were the home team, obviously, so them winning is something that I wouldn't say is a foregone conclusion, especially in hockey. People win on the road all the time. But it's kind of one of those okay, they're the home team, game one, it's expected to happen. Do you guys see this series kind of going longer? I mean, these teams just met last year. Granted, I think, and please correct me where I'm wrong here and go into some detail, Aaron. I think Edmonton's mostly the same, but we talked about at the trade deadline that Florida had done some trades at least this year to try to get some names to kind of help them on that repeat. How do you kind of see this unfolding a little bit? Obviously, don't give me the pick yet or how many games, but you see a back and forth. There's going to be a quick series.
I can't picture this being a quick series. This has got, a very long, at least 6-7 game series written on it for sure. And yeah, going to the idea of Edmonton mostly being the same, I think both teams inside of their core players, your top forwards, your top defensemen, are all virtually the same from year to year. Starting goalies are the same. But where the big differences are the depth players. They've added, both teams went ahead and added guys. Florida went and added players who were maybe bigger pieces from other teams to be part of their depth, whereas Edmonton went and kind of revitalized a lot of careers here, getting players back into the playoffs that have never been there, like Jeff Skinner, or who spent a lot of time in Buffalo, toiling away in
Yeah.
that poor city. Yeah, it's Buffalo sports.
Yeah,
But
it is what it
so
is.
they've made some great depth additions on both sides. So while the main matchup is still going to be pretty much the same, there is that added change where these guys can come up and be a hero who weren't there last time.
Well, I think
And
the biggest thing too, if you look at it, and you talked about, you think the series is going to go 6 or 7. Last year, Florida was up 3-0, and we went to Game 7. So
oh yeah,
the
that's
series
right.
is
Yep.
between these two teams. They know each other very well. And again, having a 4-3 right off the bat in Game 1, I think every game in this series is going to be a 1-goal game. I think they're going to go down to the wire. Nobody's going to kill each other by 3 or 4 goals or get a big lead early. These teams, and I think especially Edmonton, you mentioned, Brennan, them coming back essentially with the same team. I think a lot of people thought last year after Edmonton didn't win that a lot of the guys that they had that were kind of not, Draisaitl or McDavid, but
Yeah, not
Harry
the
and,
top
and
ones.
Kane and Henrique, a lot of those guys might, venture out because you got your chance at the cup and now we're going to move on. But they all came back and thought, with this group, we can do it
Something
again.
about the
And
team.
here they are. Here they are, man.
Well, you know what? It's not easy to do. We have a couple of notes previously. This has happened before as far as rematches in the Stanley Cup, albeit not very often. For it being such an old cup, obviously with the layers and stuff dating back for a very long time, it's pretty crazy that it's only happened 4 other times. This being the 5th, right? Corey, kind of break down a couple of the first few. How did it go? Did both teams win? Did it split? Like,
Yeah, so it's funny you say that. You look at the 4 previous times this has happened. It happened twice. Once in the 60s, it was the Canadians and the Blues in 68 and 69. And then
Okay.
the Canadians and Bruins in 77 and 77. The Canadians won both
well, the
of
Canadians
those
have
cups
like
each time.
20 something freaking cups, I think. Or
Exactly.
something
Insane
like that, right?
numbers.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So now if we look
like
at
the
more,
Yankees.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now if we look a little more modern, at least a couple years, you look at the Islanders and Oilers in 83. The Islanders won. And then in 84, they rematched and the Oilers won, which that was the first cup that Gretzky won in 84 with the Edmonton Oilers. So then the second time was the Red Wings and Penguins in 08. The Red Wings won the cup. In 09, they rematched, and Sidney Crosby won his first cup. So maybe McDavid follows the history and loses his first time, comes back the next year and beats the same team again. So we're just, there's a lot of historical things there that could line up for McDavid, but we'll see.
I'm not rooting for it, but that is something that could definitely happen. The other thing is, I'm not rooting against it. I
Yeah.
guess I was kind of with you guys, less so with hockey. Corey knows this more so with basketball. It's basically just not the Kings, and then even though I picked them, I'm kind of with you guys. Not Vegas either, right? Like,
Yeah.
I picked them because I just think they were a good team. I'm glad they're not here. So
Same.
since those 2 main ones are kind of gone, I'm almost indifferent. But rooting for the back to back. Corey, as you know. Big fan of the
Dynasties.
dynasties. Yeah.
Yeah, if you've watched any of our previous episodes or if you haven't gone back, look at anything NFL. If we talk about the Chiefs, Brendan's on the dynasty bandwagon for sure all the time.
pretty much. So the games are pretty close together. I'm sorry, pretty spread out. There's no real back-to-back. Well, not back-to-back. Obviously, there's never really back-to-back games. But even then, they have two days most of the time in between, which I actually really like, especially when it comes down to the end. And I think basketball does this well as well. It's just like we have the 2 best teams. Like, let's give them the rest that they need.
Yeah.
That's obviously vital, right, Aaron? I mean, after an 82 game season, a gauntlet in the playoffs, having the schedule kind of separated, giving the teams time to recover, is important. I'm assuming.
It's the most important thing about the playoffs is getting your team healthy, because even if you have reserves and players that you can trust and rely on to call up, there's a reason why your top players are your top players, and they are the difference makers. So at this time of year especially, there's guys, I think there's probably no player that's 100% healthy, and there's guys that are normally, if this is regular season, would not be playing, and they're important players too. So yeah, right now it's spread out, and it's nice June hockey being all about the Stanley Cup, having that
Yes.
time to kind of spread it out. And we started it at a good time, because I know last year it went almost all the way to the end of June and started like maybe second week of June, and felt a little like it was dragging on at that point, just because you're kind of almost brushing up on free agency practically. But yeah, starting on time this year, getting it going a little earlier, I think it's good to have the game spread out and get to enjoy the Stanley Cup Final.
Dude, one of my favorite things when the finals is over too is they come out with all the injuries that we didn't know about. Like,
It's a
this
laundry
guy
list.
played with a torn ACL for the last 3
broken
rounds.
ankles. You're like,
Yeah,
how are
this
you?
guy's head
Just
fell
tape
off
it
and he
up.
somehow played, and I'm like, I don't know how they're doing it.
I'll never forget Erik Karlsson for the Senators. They announced it during the playoffs, which is so weird. They never do it. It's like first round, oh yeah, his foot is broken. And then he went on to take them to Game 7 of the conference finals and was like playing good as a defenseman, skating with a broken foot. It was like crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
Honestly,
and
hockey players are freaking warriors.
Yeah, and Brendan, you mentioned too how spacing out in between, especially when they travel back and forth, there's that extra day because of it. Well, between Edmonton and down to Florida where they have to play, I believe I read this is the furthest distance between two opponents like in North American sports because of how far Edmonton is up into Canada and how
far
Florida
south
is down into Miami. So the travel alone
Long
is
flight.
going to be a long, long flight in order to get back and forth. So I think that extra day, and again, it's hockey. These guys are killing each other every day. So to get that extra day in between those travel days, I think is a huge bonus and is definitely needed for these guys.
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, the first one is the smallest gap between games 1 and 2, but other than that, they got some pretty good rest in between. So hopefully we get to see these teams at their fullest. That's kind of the goal, right?
And
so
hopefully we get a really long, good series like me and Aaron have mentioned. We want it to be close. We don't want anybody to kill anybody by 5 goals and not want to watch it. Like,
There's been enough
I was
of that
gonna say,
these playoffs. It's been a lot of blowout games, so let's get some close games.
That's what I was going to ask. I haven't been paying as much attention to the hockey. So, Aaron, tell me how it's been, because Corey and I had this conversation similar about basketball.
Yeah.
And we're about to have a finals conversation, so make sure you check that video out sometime soon. NBA finals, obviously. But one thing that we were talking about is, even if sometimes series are close, like 1 and then 2 and then 2 and then 3 and it goes to game 6 or 7, a lot of the games that we were watching were 125 to 80, and you're like, okay, well, what is so? I mean, this is going to be better, right? I mean, it may go 6 or 7, but like Corey mentioned, these teams should be fighting close.
Oh yeah,
big time. Yeah, I mean, like for the duration of the playoffs to this point, these two teams have kind of, outside of the first round, they both struggled heavily. They were down in their series in the first round, both teams. After that point, like Edmonton came back on the Kings, knocked them out of the park, as they do every year. And Florida knocked out their rival and the former dominant champs, the Lightning, all their neighbors in Florida there. And after that, they didn't really have problems. I mean, Vegas didn't put up much of a fight against Edmonton. The Leafs took them to 7, but they laid an egg in Game 7, so it was just not even a question. It was over by period 2. It felt like.
That's right. I do remember that.
Devastating loss for the Leafs. Furthest they've made it under this era, and don't even show up for Game 7 I'm a Ducks fan.
I just remember I just remember they had a shot outside of the arena. It was the second period, bro, and everyone was sitting there just like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. That's Toronto, man. That's what they do in the playoffs. Unfortunately for them,
fool me once.
Now they got to trade for Kawhi, maybe get over that hump.
Hey, it works sometimes in other sports, right?
Right, exactly. So,
yeah.
All right, well, we've talked a bit about it. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Then I want some predictions from you guys. I'm gonna save. You know what? Let me go in the middle of you guys, because I have a kind of a weird feeling where you guys are both going. Aaron, you've been talking for a second. Corey, let's start with you. Where are you? Who you got?
So
now, is this who you want and who you think? Who you want
it's
or
both?
Okay,
it's who I want and who I think, and then I'm going to give you my ultimate plan for the Ducks that has to do with why I think or why this one team winning could affect my plan. I know it's a side turn, but just
are the Ducks even playing?
No, they're not. But this is my plan. So I have the Oilers winning in 7 because, like I said, I think this is going to go down to the wire every game, and I think each team will win one game on the road within the first 6. But I think it'll come down to Game 7, and Edmonton does it at home and return the favor from last year. And then I have McDavid winning the Conn Smythe again as well. Last year as a loser, but this year hopefully as a winner. Now,
here's crazy. That's how good.
Here's my tie-in to the Ducks plan.
Please make it make sense.
So I've been telling Aaron, you can back me up here, for like a year.
Yep.
We should hire Joel Quenneville. He's been sitting out for a long time and not doing anything. He should come coach. Well, we did that about a month ago. So first step already done. Here's the next things I want to happen. I want Corey Perry to win a cup here with the Edmonton Oilers, and he's 40 years old. This will be his 5th Stanley Cup appearance and final appearance in the last 6 years, his 6th overall, winning with the Ducks in 07. I say you get your second cup, you come back to Anaheim, you sign a 1-year deal and retire and play 1 year with us as the Ducks are starting to ascend with all the young guys and a new coach.
Teach them some stuff, locker room stuff,
now
habits and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. Now the next part is,
I was gonna say that was just Corey Perry. Okay, good. It's getting deeper.
These other 2 pieces or things might be a little weird, and people might think I'm a little crazy, but just hear me out.
Lay it on me. We
hired Joel Quenneville when he was coaching in Chicago. Who were the 2 best players on that team that won 3 cups?
Kane and I forgot the other guy's name.
Jonathan Toews.
Thank you.
Jonathan Toews didn't retire, but he stopped playing a couple years ago because he had like long COVID and he wasn't getting his breathing right. Well, apparently he thinks he's ready and healthy to play again. Patrick Kane, who played in Detroit the last couple of years, is a free agent. Maybe they want to come back and play for their old coach, Joel Quenneville in Anaheim. You bring in
LA,
Perry.
beautiful area, California.
You get to live your
Not less
life. Nobody's going to
taxes.
bother you like they do in Chicago or in
True.
those crazy markets.
Mhm.
And you kind of help us send the organization in the right way. Maybe we make a run because Perry seems to just make a Stanley Cup final every year. But
Very
if
true.
not, he gets to retire a Duck. And then we put his and Getzlaf numbers up in the rafters the following season. That's my plan. That's my Ducks.
Okay. One
Works for
comment,
me.
and then I want Aaron to go.
Okay. One comment. Go.
You just want to sell jerseys.
Oh yeah.
You
Well,
just
Aaron,
want to
Aaron does
deal
too.
merch.
Aaron and I work for the same department. So
Money.
You're just trying to deal. Let's get Perry back. We could put him in their new City Connect. Let's get Patrick King. Can you imagine
Yeah.
Kane and Taves on the back of a Ducks
Just
jersey?
saying.
You're just selling merch, Corey.
Hey, I'm trying to win a cup, man. We won my first day there. We haven't been back since. I don't know if it's my fault or not, but I'm trying to get us back there.
I hope it's not. I hope that
Yeah,
if when you ever move on, they don't immediately win.
Dude, I'll be so pissed.
He's like, it was my fault the whole time.
The whole
these
time.
years.
All I had to do was leave. They'd be perennial stars. All right, Aaron, save your thing. Let me go quickly because I don't have as much cool of a plan as that. I am a dynasty man. Let's just leave it at that. I actually had the Panthers making it to the Cup Finals. That's the one half of my prediction I had correct. The other half of that would they be losing to the Knights. Glad that's actually not happening. So I'm going to run with the only pick that I actually had here. I'm going Panthers. Couple of things. One, I think Brad Marchand on a third line is a little bit too hard. Like, how can he be on your third line, man? He is arguably one of the best scorers, and he comes out 1, 2, third. I don't know. So that's pretty good. They have the experience. They were just there. Being down means absolutely nothing to them. I know they were just up 3-0, so now is the time to be down 0-1. But I kind of agree with you. I think they might be able to steal game 2. Granted, they might lose one at home to them. So I think it's going to go. I don't think that they'd be able to win a game 7 on the road. I think that did help them after they gave up 3 in a row after winning 3 straight. I'm going to say Panthers in 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You go dynasty.
That's right. That's right. So, Aaron, now let me know. Break it down. How you got or who you got and how.
Well, real quickly, I'll talk about your plan or your prediction here for a sec. That would be a nice little. If that comes to fruition, you got the Florida teams making the finals for 6 straight years, and a nice little reverse thing going on here because Tampa won their first 2, lost their third. You'd have Panthers losing
First.
Yeah, they won their second and third attempts
If
at
they
it,
win,
losing.
correct.
If they win, got a nice little bubble of losers
True.
in the middle, end pieces. It makes sense.
Lose, win. That's
Yep.
pretty good, actually.
Who
Yeah.
would have
State of
thought
Florida.
30 years ago we put teams in Florida, we'd have 6 straight Eastern Conference champions and
Incredible.
possibly
They
4
run the
Stanley
East.
Cup champions. Wow.
The
Anyways,
players
Aaron,
know it too. They love it there now. They're starting to catch
I would
wind.
too.
It's
Shit.
not too bad
No
in
state
Miami.
taxes. No state taxes, yeah.
Oh yeah, but going to what I think is going to happen here, I'm going to side with history here. I do think now this means it's not going to happen because my predictions for the playoffs were all over the place. I mean, they were close, kind of. I had Carolina in the conference finals, but I had them winning, and no. So yeah, sticking with history that is proven. I'll lean on that this time, and looking at the fact that the more recent repeat matchups here have the loser coming out on top the second time, and like Corey mentioned, Gretzky comes back his second time and wins it. Crosby comes back his second time and wins it. At this point, I feel like even though I've never been that big of a McDavid fan, there's no denying that he is in deserving comparison to those players. He's the best in the league. And guys like Draisaitl, who scored that OT winner tonight, they're driven. I mean, you see, they had a moment in the third round here in the conference final.
Mhm.
They lost to Dallas. They had a 3-0 lead and they blew it. And it was 4-3 in regulation, first game. They end up going to win 4 straight after that, but they have a moment as soon as they lose that game. McDavid and Draisaitl turn to each other on the bench.
Yep.
Independent, don't say a word. They turn and look. You can look up the clip. It's hilarious. They just have this look in their face like, we got to carry this team. And they powered them through Dallas. I think they're driven to do it, and I think they'll be able to do it in 7, however, because the Panthers are still a elite team, a great team, and it's going to come down to literally 1 or 2 moments in that game 7 that are going to be the difference here because I think it's going to go back and forth the whole way.
Nice. You mentioned McDavid. I actually saw a random reel, whatever the heck they're called today. Tell me if this is true. Somebody said, I heard McDavid is the Kyrie Irving of hockey. Now, I don't know how much you follow basketball, Aaron. Kyrie Irving is the handles, the Uncle Drew, the freaking. Is he like that with the stick? McDavid just crazy like that with the stick?
It's not that comparison.
He is, dude. He's
Okay.
pretty good.
He's flashy in all senses of the word.
I was going to say, not only that, because hockey in general, the players blow my mind because they are doing so much so fast on skates with a stick. Like, it's just insane. But
on frozen water.
Yeah, but what he can do while, just flying down the ice in between 2-3 guys and deking and around. I mean, yeah, Kyrie Irving is actually a really good comparison of him being able to dribble the puck up and down.
Quite literally dribble. Yeah, he has that ability to just be about 2 whole seconds ahead of everybody else in terms of physical speed, but also just the plan and vision and thinking it out. Like, it's just sometimes it looks like a drawn up almost football play that he's got going, but it's just him and he's taking it the whole way.
Just an accident.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, he plays at video game speed essentially is what it comes to.
Yeah, I did see that. I mean, that reel came with a couple of clips and I was like, damn. Because you see him, like, to your point, bro, 3 guys. And he goes through them somehow and he comes out the other side with the puck still. You're just like,
I'm like, I don't understand how the puck.
What did they just do? Nothing? They didn't do anything? They couldn't get it? So
it kind of
I saw a
amazes
couple
me
clips.
How people in the NHL don't take penalties against him more often, because at this point, the power play in Edmonton is bad, and they will, or not bad, it's good. Like, it's bad for you if they get on the power play. But if you let him in alone, it's almost better than 50-50 he's going to score. Like, he's got that ability to
almost
punch
more
teams.
Demoralizing too, because at least on a power play you can understand. At least we were down.
Hey, we're down a man.
I mean?
This is just him. Even play, he beat through everybody, and you let it happen, right?
Yeah. So you had the goalie waiting, and 3 guys right here, and he scored still.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to watch because, again, the speed that he does it at is so. And I'm sure for him it's not fast. It's it's probably the game is slowed down to a point. But we're watching.
He's just floating around through the stuff.
Yeah, internally that's the song he's hearing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, well, you heard it here first. We got a couple going with Edmonton in 7. I'm taking the Panthers in 6. But let us know down below what you guys think. Who do you guys have hosting this cup after this all said and done?
Also, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, or TikTok at RVUFTB. Who you got winning the Conn Smythe? I know I mentioned I got McDavid winning the second time in a row, but this time is the winner of the cup as well. But who do you think you guys got winning, or is it just McDavid back-to-back?
I'm taking Draisaitl. I gotta say, even though I just talked up McDavid, he's got that fire in his eyes. I swear, he looks like he's ready to do it.
Hey, well, game winner in game 1 is a great start to that Conn Smythe, right?
Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, I appreciate everybody stopping by. Thank you as always for seeing things from RB from the bench. I'm Brendan.
I'm Aaron.
I'm Corey. Like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.
This was a Sycamore 4th Studios production.